Yeah, I saw your questions, and the main one I guess you were asking was around the like how can I generate interest for your business when you don't have interest or you don't have an audience. That's the main question, right?
Mhm.
So here's the thing is that when I first got started out too, I had that exact same question because not only did I not have social media, I didn't consume social media. So I was like, I just can't figure out how this is going to get me some fast results. Like this is going to be a long-term play. So
Mhm.
there's two things that I learned, which is that when it comes to your business and customers that you can be converting, you're either going to have people who are going to be ones that will come to you. So we call that attraction marketing. Or there's people who you can specifically go to them and you're reaching out to them. And that's more like action marketing. And, both of them have existed through history. It's just that attraction marketing now with the tools that we have through social media is just so much more powerful currently because social media allows you to put out a message and make yourself very loud, right? Whereas with the action marketing, it's more like you being able to send a direct personalized message to many people at once. Now, the interesting thing is that like going into the future, because of the introduction of AI, the action marketing is going to become like a lot stronger than it ever has been in the past because the cost of sending messages, of sending voice notes, of like doing all these things that would ordinarily cost a lot of money, that's going to reduce significantly. So when you first have this basic understanding of like there's attraction marketing and there's action marketing, the first question is, if you didn't have a following, if you didn't have an audience, how would you do it without the internet? How would it have been done in like go 100 years ago? Because this was the thing, that people were actually successful in the industry of affiliate and network marketing before there even was social media. So how were they doing it back then? What do you think they might have been doing?
So I would have been getting out there, and they'd have been out in the town centre or somewhere where about. I've promoting someone else's product or their own, and they talk to people and be very involved in the community, I guess. Whereas obviously that's online now, but back then it would be, I had the privilege of getting to experience a little bit of that, of how, I know, obviously I'm from a town called Morecambe, but a stone throw away is the city of Lancaster. When you'd go into town back when I was a kid, obviously this is before smartphones and that, loads of that was going on. You know what I mean? There was people everywhere advertising stuff and selling stuff, and now obviously it's all sort of either online or everyone's got a shop or a stall and they're paying the council. But back then, there was stalls there, and then it would have been just word of mouth for, I went there and it was really good. Oh, well, I'll go there then, and then they'll pass that on to whoever, and it happened like that. Which that's not to say that can't happen today, but as we know, online is the way to do it today.
Absolutely. So here's the thing, is that like everything that has worked traditionally, it's not as if those things are now out the window. It's more like they're just now amplified when you've been given the tools. For example, the introduction of AI, it's like AI is not going to replace traditional sales and marketing. It's only going to amplify it so that it now looks as a different landscape in terms of how you play and where you play. When you're talking about, for example, okay, what was it that has made some of these big businesses highly successful in the past without any social media marketing? And a good example of one of those businesses is something like Five Guys. So Five Guys have never actually put any money ever into TV commercials, into social media advertising, maybe up until recently, but the whole way that they built their global franchise was through simply word of mouth advertising. Their whole business model in terms of growing their business was just, we want to focus on making the absolute best burgers. So then other people will go and tell their friends, and they'll be incentivized to tell their friends. So it's all relying on just, that word of mouth advertising. So this is the thing, is that, when you have the power of leverage, then it's as if when you have something that's just genuinely good in terms of the service that you deliver or the product that you offer, then the product sells itself through the people, because the people naturally go and start selling it. So when you think about how throughout your entire life, it's like when you went to school, no one's ever taught you or your friends really how to sell, but it's just naturally ingrained within you. Like when you go and watch a great movie, what do? You go and recommend it to your friends. When you go and eat some of the best food ever, what do? You go and recommend it to your friends. And you successfully get that other person to go and buy food from another person's restaurant, or to go and buy a house in another person's area because you love the area, or go and travel to a different country because you love traveling to that country. You can easily do it. And, the reason why is because sales is a part of who we are. And it's just simply sharing your beliefs with other people. So when I look at some of in history, the most successful businesses ever, one of them that stood the test of time is the religion business. Because when you look at how much people are essentially converting others to this faith or this group of people, it's happening to the point of which there's billions of people throughout the world who have that conversion, and they're now all either going into the mosques, the churches, the temples, and they're paying money for nothing. Well, it's not necessarily for nothing. Let me put it differently. But there's no product. There's no genuine service. It's just, no, here's the money and it's going to God. That's where this money is going to.
Sorry to interrupt. They could have experienced that without paying, but because they've heard so many good things and they've experienced it, they don't mind paying. Because they're giving the energy to it. That's all money is. So it's transfer of energy. So sales is that transfer of energy as well. It's just money is giving a certain means of value, but when you're using your voice and your mouth to actually convey energy to another person, it's the same thing as giving money, right? So especially when you're giving it in a way which is adding value. But what I'm basically saying is that when you look at how was it that the church and these institutions got so good at being able to gather people and to convert, because that's what you're essentially looking for, is two things. It's to actually get people into the church, and then it's to convert. So what do you think the church did really well? Getting people in.
Yeah. How did they do that?
Well, I imagine not so much word of mouth, but I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know.
It's interesting, isn't it? Well, when you look into it and you think, how was it actually formed? The whole faith of Christianity and everything like that. So we know that there was a guy who was a great guy, a leader called Jesus. And he basically went around and did some incredible stuff for his community. And he was teaching about this idea, which was, a different way of living. And so people liked that idea. They saw how it was working really well because he would perform these miracles. And, then a group of 12 of them, disciples, became his biggest, ambassadors. Then even when he died, those 12 disciples went and continued on the practices that he personally embodied. So what that sort of shows is that, you know, the whole reason why Christianity formed as it is now, it's not because of social media. It's not because he had a following, right? Jesus did not have no following. The reason why he's had this impact of legacy impact after and impacting billions of people is because of his leadership.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the thing, is that you might not necessarily have a following right now, but
no.
The natural thing that happens for you to attract people who will either want to follow you, or people who will want to do business with you, or people who will want to become customers and clients, is that when you focus on what you can change yourself, which is you, and transforming into becoming that leader, naturally what will happen is that the people will flock towards you.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. So the biggest limiting belief that you truly have is not anything to do with what you have on social media in terms of your following. It's nothing to do with like I don't have the skills or whatever. It's not that. The biggest limiting belief that you have is I don't believe that I'm worthy of being someone that others will want to like flock to in abundance, and have that magnetism. That's the limiting belief.
Definitely. Yeah. I agree. But I still, like, obviously from the video, I completely agree with you. It's all how I perceive myself, and, you know, and you become what you think about most. So if I'm thinking negative thoughts about myself, then it's going to be a reality, isn't it? But yeah, I know it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a lot of hard work to make it happen. But I think I'm kind of I got the gist. I'm still yet to watch the second video. Been very busy. I just have to apologise. Work's been absolutely mental.
Yeah, it usually is.
It's not normally. Normally I've got like quite a bit of time off, but we've got some crazy. I'm doing house removals. Right. So we're doing crazy moves, mate, where they've been like 12 to 13 hour days. So, which, you know, means more money for me, but usually I've got a bit of time. So I'm going to go into the second video that you sent me. But what I've got from that video is that network marketing is the way. I just need to learn a little bit more about it, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe buy a few books on it and just actually understand it, because, you know, there's money. I don't know what his name was, but he was basically saying on the video, he was saying at the start, there's a lot of stuff you'll do which you won't get paid for, but then by the end of it, there's a lot of stuff you won't do, but you'll get paid for if you would. Like,
and I've experienced it. It's real.
Yeah, that's where the networking comes in, and basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously once you get connections, it's in the name, isn't it? You're networking, you're connecting people, and you're like the middleman of the business, if you would.
Yes.
And then obviously you caught, and then you can. Well, the aim of the game, which, as you know yourself, because I've worked in obviously construction for a long time, and that is to build a source of income. And I hope to be a millionaire one day, but
you will be.
I know I will be. But what I'm trying to say is, for the time being, I just need to build something where I can make, I don't know, just over 1,000 a month, flat rate, which probably everyone else is making. I've made more than that in the past, but just that.
That's the first milestone.
Through that, I'll have more time.
Yes.
So I'll be making the money that I would have been from work, but I'll have more time to put energy into something else, to build something.
Yes.
So it's going to be small at first.
Yeah.
No, I know it's not going to be, I'm making 50 grand. And, you know what I mean?
No.
But obviously, it'll be small at first, but the vital step that I need to happen, which I'm going to make happen, is that source of income it gives me a bit of freedom.
Bit of time freedom.
Yeah, a bit of time and a bit of freedom, and essentially, you know, I get the system of you do 1 hour and you get 1 hour's pay is, you know, there's better ways of doing it, as you know, where you can do, I don't know, 6 hours work a week, or maybe a bit more, and you've earned your money for that week from doing that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm just learning it, so I need to just knuckle down.
So let me shift your mindset a little bit here as well, because in terms of how you've earned money before, have you earned money where it wasn't necessarily through like you just putting in time and then making money? Have you ever earned money without that? No. This is what I'm saying, is that like when you have that linear model of only being able to make money through your hours, then everything in the business world just feels unbelievable, because it's like playing the game of money in a different dimension, you know? So what you're thinking about right now is like, okay, I can put in 6 hours and it'll get me out this much, or I can put in 100 hours and get me out this much. I don't want you to think about like trading time for money, because that's actually more like, the best way I can describe it is a slavery-based mindset. And the sovereignty mindset, which is the complete opposite, is where you're not thinking about how much hours can I put in to get a certain amount of money, but you're actually thinking a lot more about for the amount of money that I want to make. So it's opposite, how much money I want to make, and then how many sales does that translate to? Like, for example, you said that you want to make £1,000 a month at least as a minimum. So what you want to be asking yourself is, okay, to make £1,000, how can I get that in sales? Because that's what every business is. You're going to make sales. So it could either be that you've got very simple, you know, selling a product where it's £10 per product that you get as profit. Simple maths, it's 100 times by 10, so you got to have 100 sales, right? So that's one way that you can make £1,000. And if you to do it that way, then you got to find 100 people, because you can't have a sale without a person. There's 100 buyers as well. They're not just people, but you have 100 buyers. That's one way that you can do it. Now, if you're going to do it that way, then yes, you're going to have to have a lot more followers, because when you're going to have 100 buyers, that would mean that, like, even if you had 10,000 followers, like maybe 1% of them would become a buyer, you know?
Yeah.
So it becomes more of a marketing skill that you've got to learn, because how I view marketing is that it is being able to spread a message to the masses. It's being able to develop a bigger, wider audience. There's like 10,000 people every single month that you would have to have at least to get product sales of, you know, £10 per sale and have 100 buyers. That's kind of like the numbers that you'd be looking at. But let's say that we changed it and we set some different numbers, and instead of it being £10 per sale, what if it was you got £100 profit per sale? Now, how many sales do you need in order to have £1,000? It's no longer.
Just cut it in half. Much. Yeah.
No, it's not actually cut in half. It's divided by 10. So you no longer need 100 buyers. You need 10 buyers, right? So if you only need 10 buyers, then your audience will shift as well, and it's going to be not necessarily 10,000 people. It's going to be 1,000 people as people that you've got to be able to, you know, have in your audience. So when you think about like now 1,000, but why wouldn't everybody do that? Well, the reason why is because now that you don't have to be as good at marketing, but what you have to be a little bit better at is you have to be a little bit better at sales. Because the difference between marketing and sales is marketing is about being able to just like get your voice out there to as many people as possible so everyone knows who you are. Whereas sales is about being able to actually, you know, have more of a specificity in terms of the product alignment with the actual person. So in simple terms, it's like you actually have to be better with what we call the target audience, who you're going to target. Because if you have just 10,000 people, it could be anybody that's going to buy something for £10. Because that £10 could be something like that anybody will use. It could be a knife and fork. It could be, like a phone case. So everybody would need a phone case. Whereas
is that why? Sorry to interrupt you, but is that why it says product service? It says, do you like it? So what I got from that is obviously, if I'm passionate about it and I think, I like this product, I'm able to sell it tenfold. Where if it's something that I think it's a bit shit, I don't like it, I'm going to struggle selling it because it's going to come across as fake, isn't it? Whereas if I genuinely like it, it's going to be easy.
Exactly. So that's a big thing because. It's again coming back to this thing of like when it comes to sales, like any time that you come across as somebody who is selling because you are doing it for the purpose of getting another person's money, we call that having commission breath, and it stinks. Nobody likes commission breath, so it actually repels people away from you. Whereas when someone is just genuinely sharing what they're passionate about and it's rubbing off on others and it becomes infectious, then it doesn't feel as though you're selling. It just feels as though you are helping and serving people because that's what you feel morally obliged to do. And when you have that moral obligation to go and help others in that particular way, then people will come and follow you. Again, going back to the whole church thing. The whole thing was about morally helping people to live better lives. So that's like the highest form of sales. So if you genuinely believe that by somebody, this is the level of conviction that you want to have in your offer and your product, is like you want to genuinely believe that by somebody not having it in their life is going to get worse. That's the kind of level of conviction that you want to have in your product or offer. And that when you do have that, then as you start to passionately speak a little bit more about what it is that you're offering to others, then simply put, like the right people will want to listen to what you've got to say about it as the leader, and then they will buy into the product as well. So this is the skill of sales. So when you have both the sales and marketing together, then you have an audience of maybe 1,000 people, and it's only £100 per product now, but like you just got to have 10 buyers. That's it, right? So that's one example. Now there's an even higher example of that in terms of the price point, which is you're gonna sell something for £1,000, right? Or you've got to make £1,000. You could sell something that is worth £1,000, and that would mean that you only sell to one person. So if you are literally going to have one person that you've got to find, that's only 10 people in your audience that you've got to be able to make potential connections with. And from a marketing perspective, you don't even need to be that good when it comes to marketing to sell things to one person for £1,000. But what you do have to be better at is you have to be better at sales. Because for a person to give away £1,000, like, they are going to be needing a little bit more persuasion than a person who's just given away £10, especially if, that's something of which they didn't even know that they wanted to buy. Whereas there are some people who, they go into real estate or they go into like selling cars. But what I would say about selling those two things is that everybody already wants to buy a house. Everybody already wants to buy a car. And so when you think about actual opportunity there, it's not really that big because everyone's already got a house and everybody is just like upgrading their house. Where the real opportunity lies is where you are actually selling something that nobody has, but everybody will eventually have and will want, because then you have the biggest market share. So when you're looking at, again, like, what's going to be the ideal product, if you're seeing something that everybody currently has, you're already too late. Like, somebody's already made billions in that particular industry, and there's no way that you'll be able to truly thrive at the highest level with that. You're just going to get like super small commission and a small market share. But if you can see in the world that like, hang on a second, nobody has this, but everybody will have this based off of the market research, based off of where the world is going, and it's something that's, potentially you can get £1,000 per sale from it, then you know that there's opportunity there as well, if that makes sense. So then it becomes a thing where, okay, your sales has to be better than your marketing because you are selling something that is worth more to potentially one person, right? So these are the three options that you have. Now, here's the other thing that I would say is that you don't have to pick either or. It doesn't have to be a thing where it's like, oh, I only want to learn sales and I only want to sell things that are worth a lot of money. No, you can actually have an architecture of your business, which if you think about when you walk into Tesco's, when you walk into supermarkets, they have products at different price points. You can walk in and you buy something that's like a bunch of chocolates and it's 50 pence, but in the same shop you could buy a TV that's worth £1,000. So you can essentially set up your online business in such a way where you have different price points for people who are going to be in that environment where they feel like, yeah, I want to buy something here. And so that could mean that you've got a price point at £10, you've got a price point at 100, and you've got a price point at 1,000. So worst case scenario, it's like, you could build your audience by just making sure that you hit the goal with the £1,010 per sale, so market to 10,000 people. And then naturally what will happen is that you'll have the best 100 people that will also buy products for £100 out of those 10,000. And you'll have the best 10 people that will also buy products for 1,000 at the price point over there as well. So that kind of is the way that you personally become the best entrepreneur. Because at the end of the day, it's like if you only focus on sales, then you're going to have a weakness. The way that I look at sales and marketing is it's almost as if the same way that you have in boxing, you've got your offense and you've got your defense.
Yeah, man.
So offense in boxing is marketing in business. It's actually going out, putting out your message, making sure that like you are taking the first step with people and you're making some noise. That's offense. Defense in boxing is like, making sure you're not getting hit, but also counterattacking, and then from that, like putting someone down. So defense is sales. And if you're a boxer and you can only do offense, then maybe you'll be able to get some results initially, but you'll never be able to be a professional. You'll never be able to actually win fights consistently. You'll just look good. And so this is the thing, is that it's the same thing as being an entrepreneur. If you can learn both sales and marketing, then you'll be able to sell both low ticket products, which are like the low price points. You'll be able to sell the high ticket products, the high price points. You won't need to have a lot of followers, but you will simply have like quite a bunch of people that are following you because you've decided that you're going to become somebody who is a great entrepreneur. And so the industry of network marketing, it's an industry that's the easiest one to really get results in quickly when you're working part-time on your business and you're working full-time on your job. It's the easiest one because you're not having to set up everything from scratch. All the offers, all the products, everything in terms of the delivery and infrastructure is already taken care of for you. So in traditional businesses, like people, when they're doing freelancing, offering services, every single person that comes on board, like they have to go and fulfill, which takes them time, resources. But the beautiful thing about network marketing is that like all you got to do is just make money. All you got to do is do the money making activities of selling and marketing. And that's why people are getting results so quick. So if you have somebody who has got the same entrepreneurial abilities as someone that's in freelance, as someone who's actually doing hard business, then you will get crazy results in network marketing. The reason why people don't get good results in network marketing, because there's a bunch of people that don't get good results with it, and I was saying this in the video too. The reason why they don't is because they treat it as if it's like just a hobby. They treat it as if it's not a real business. They treat it as if, you know, they don't have to become like this actual entrepreneur who's doing promotions and marketing and sales. But when you are really treating it as if like you've just opened up a brick and mortar business and you're fully like invested into it, this is your thing, and you show up to it every single day, then eventually you're going to figure it out. You're going to get the results, and you're going to do what's necessary to make it work.
Definitely. I completely agree. Yeah, so thank you for your time. I've learned a lot from what you've just said. I have been taking notes as you've been talking.
Yeah. So
now, the most prominent notes that I've got is that I need to learn more about sales and marketing. I like your little boxing analogy there. So obviously I've got offense, marketing, defense, sales. So do you have any books that you've read that I'll obviously buy them that, and I'll just go through them that you think, oh yeah, that I learned a lot from them to do with marketing and sales, or?
Well, I've got tons of material. Like